Hi, it's Danny. I hope you're doing good. And in the background, you can hear this track, Goodbye. You can see here that we're in Logic Pro 10. And what I'm going to do is a deconstruction. I'm going to take a look at the elements in the construction of the track, the compositional aspects, the programming, and so on. Now, this is a very important tune for me. This was part of my kind of healing process in dealing with the loss of Phil Asher, who was someone that I've known over the years and who I have respected very, very highly as a producer. Hugely influential in terms of my musical background and experience. And you may notice kind of hints of something else that he did, and that was deliberate. So one of my favorite remixes that he did was Nathan Haynes' There's a Place. So I wanted to have some kind of arpeggiated motif in there somewhere, and that's one of the main elements here. And also to echo the bass in terms of the way that was played. This is a definite homage to him. This is my tribute to him. And what I'm doing is I'm organizing for the sales on Tracksource to be going to his estate, to his son. So it has a huge kind of deep meaning. I didn't really want to make this known, but I think it's important because I want to try to help out his family. So let's backtrack. Obviously, this is going to have quite a lot of emotional resonance for me. Let's take a look at the arpeggiator. The arpeggio. And this is coming from the instrument Falcon, which is the UVI instrument. This was a preset called Blue Vibe that I customized, okay? So it had some other elements that I took off. I simplified it and stripped it back. One of the things that I think is really important to mention about this is that it's running through the Softtube tape plugin. And what I'm doing deliberately here is adding the speed instability. So this is taking the pitch and varying it over time. So it creates this kind of almost analog kind of vibe to it. And that was very important for me. And there are two versions of this arp. There's another one which is a slower speed. So this is on 16ths, but then the other one goes to the 8ths. Okay, so let me show you here as a contrast. Different atmosphere, deliberately, because there's another section in the track. Let's come back. So, musical elements. We've got the arp. There are some strings which are going to come in. There is also the bass. I'm going to show you what I used for this. This was in the Logic library, which this is the upright ballad bass. You can hear that coming in. The strings, let's move forward to those. This was another Logic instrument. This is the Violins 1 Plus patch. Logic's got some fantastic instruments actually. Out of the box, there are so many options for you. Piano, electric piano. This is in fact Logic's stock library Suitcase Mark IV piano. And what it's doing here is it's being grained up by the SP950 from Wave Tracing, which I used to give it that kind of SP1200 vibe. Phil was a big user of the SP1200s and then also the MPC as well. So this is another tribute in there. High string coming from Contact. This is the string ensemble from the orchestral collection. Also some cellos. Let me come back here. Onto Contact. This is the cello ensemble. Deliberately somber, sad, melancholic, etc. For a purpose, for a reason, because of how I was feeling. So these are the musical elements. There's another piano that comes in. When I say piano, we had electric piano. This is an acoustic piano. Let's take a look. This is one of the Logic library instruments. Yamaha grand piano. So it's a real shift in mood. Let's bring the other arpeggio in. strings coming back. And the cellos. And the strings, by the way, are being filtered. So let's open up. You can see that here. So the filter freak is being used to change the tone over time. And there are some other strings here as well. So, you know, there's kind of like a big orchestral kind of aspect to this track. And really, it's just to create a kind of sweeping, emotional kind of vibe to the track. And you can see here I've really focused on these musical elements and not on the drum programming, etc. at the moment. There is a bit of a breakdown which is occurring here, so the automation is being used to add some drama. Let me take everything off solo. Let's come back a bit. So obviously this is with all of the rhythmic elements in. So you can hear some of those elements are faded down using automation. So we're stripped right back to the filtered strings, the arp, which is being faded down as well. Then there is a vocal sample coming in and some reverse effects. Back onto that piano again. Now you can also notice that there's some vinyl. It's just a loop of vinyl noise that's going on in the background. And let's come onto those beats. So let's take a look. This was using the Drum Machine Designer. And let me bring this up. So it's a selection of different drum elements that I put together into this kit and programmed that. Let me take this onto the normal pointer. And we can just take a look at some of the programming. Let's zoom in. Let's come back to the beginning. So you can see that flow. Then there is some percussion, which is coming from the live kind of percussion players that you get inside Logic. But I bounced it into audio, so it was this Latin percussionist Isabella. And so I bounced it so that it's all consistent and didn't change every time I bounced the track out. So I committed that actual playing. And that's adding this real kind of nice organic vibe to it. Logic Apple loops, a shaker, also a tambourine. So a combination of Apple loops and programming for the rhythm section. And let's take a look, just a few kind of wind chime effects here. Looks like I had a vocal that I was going to put in at one point that I didn't end up using. Not much else really to the construction. You know, like I said, it's much more of a kind of emotive musical piece than any particular kind of dramatic breakdowns or build-ups or anything like that. And the beat doesn't really vary aside from just kind of keeps plodding away in the background. The one thing that I will do though, as we come towards the end of the video, is just to show you a couple of things that I'm doing on the master section. And I used the Drawmer S73 from Softtube here, just to add a bit of kind of gelling to the track. You can see it's a very, very negligible amount. It's about maxing of about minus 1.5 dBs there. So it's kind of like a multi-band compressor this. Then to add some nice kind of brightness, I'm using the Slate Digital Fresh Air. So just a small amount on the mid air and then a slightly larger amount on the high air. And then finally, my favorite limiter at the moment, the Brainworks BX Limiter True Peak. And you can see actually I'm pushing it quite hard here on the LUFS, higher than actually I thought I would do. This is a nice competitive level, I hope, compared to other tracks, but without squashing the life out of it. And that's it. So, back in Logic Pro 10, it's always nice to come back to this one. And very much something that that helped me through really emotionally with the passing of Phil, and very much a tribute to him. Okay, all right. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments below, and I'll see if I can get back to you.